I'm just on my way back home from my pain specialist appointment, and things turned out a little bit differently to what I thought. I thought that I was going in there to organise for me to have another nerve block, but this time in the area of my stomach that's sort of under my belly button, so my intestine sort of area, because that gives me a lot of grief every single day. But things took a dramatic change. So after telling him what I go through with the bottom part of my stomach and my intestines, he decided to have a bit of a poke around, and he then gave me a new diagnosis of something that sounds like ACNES. ACNES. And off the top of my head, I have absolutely no idea what that stands for. And a really long story short, I ended up walking out of there having 3 injections of anaesthetic and cortisone directly into my stomach in 3 places. And it has just started to rain, so I need to make a bolt for my car, otherwise I'm going to look like a drowned rat. So I'm now 45 minutes down the road and it's not raining. That makes me very happy, especially when I still have a while of driving before I reach home. I have to say that driving is quite tough and is becoming quite a miserable experience because obviously I have to wear a seatbelt which goes directly across my stomach where I had all of the injections, and then all of the potholes that are on every single road, especially the big highways that they haven't fixed yet. It's just torture every single time I bump into one of those. I really wish that they'd fix the potholes. So I've just driven for another hour or so and I am completely exhausted. By the time I get home it will be close to 6 o'clock, and I left at 7 this morning, so a very big day for me. And I think having this unexpected treatment also has taken a lot out of me, because I don't usually go too well when I get surprise treatments just sprung on me there and then. But oh well, it's all done now, and all I can do is just go through the recovery process as I usually do, and then get on with life from there. So I won't speak anymore about ACNES because I'm starting to get brain fog and I'll probably just ramble and have no idea what I'm talking about. So I'm probably better when I have a clearer mind to share exactly what this is and what the treatments are. So I will see you all on the flip side. Bye. Well, it's 2 days after my procedure now and my head is a lot clearer, so I'll be able to tell you the rest of my story. So the original plan with this appointment with my pain specialist was to get some more nerve blocks put into my belly, and the purpose of that was to try to stop some of the pain that I get, which has been brought on by my SMAS, because I just can't seem to get that pain under control. The first procedure that the pain specialist did for me about this type of pain really has worked quite well. I do still have pain, but it really has helped a great deal. So I thought getting it done in a different spot, I might get the same result, and then I'd be even happier and in less pain. So after we discussed that that was why I had returned to him, he sort of had a think and said, no, actually, we can't do that. It's far too much of a complicated procedure and it's just too hard, basically, to do that. So he then decided that he'd give me an examination of my stomach just to see if he can see if there's anything else going on. So I'm like, okay. So I jumped up on the bed. He asked me to lie flat on my back, and then as they do, poke, poke, prod, prod. Does this hurt? Does this hurt? And I'm like, ow, ow, ow. Yes, it does. Ow, yes, ow. Yes, that hurt a lot, kind of thing went on for a little while. And then he said, all right, make sure your legs are flat on the bed. I'm like, okay. He's like, now, I want you to raise both of your legs off the bed at the same time, keeping them straight. And I just looked at him, I went, what? I went, I can't do that. He's like, yeah, go on, try. So I'm like, okay. So with a lot of force and a lot of grunting and a lot of, oh my God, I got my legs off that bed. I was very proud of myself. While I was struggling to lift my legs off the bed, he's poking, prodding, asking me, does it hurt? And I'm like, yes, ow, ow, yes, the whole regime again. And he's like, okay, you can put your legs down now. And then he goes, interesting. He said that he'd just done a test on me for Carnot's sign. He was also pressing on my stomach in, I guess it was sort of a linear fashion. Everything was done in straight lines. Once he'd finished that, he told me that he was diagnosing me with ACNES, ACNES. And no, it's not pimples. There are 4 treatments for ACNES, and he wanted to start me on the phase 2 treatment, but it turns out he wasn't able to do that because he didn't have the equipment needed. So we just went straight to phase 1. Phase 1 is trigger point injections. So when the pain specialist was touching on my stomach in those linear sort of lines that he was doing, which I thought was a bit weird, it turns out that it's these lines or these positions on my stomach is what he'll be using to be able to line up the injections. Because apparently with ACNES, the pain can kind of be in lines. So he figured out where I was in the most pain and which lines were creating the most pain. And he drew some spots on my stomach with a texter. And then he was going to use those spots to be the places where he put the injections. And the injections were of anesthetic and cortisone. So I was a bit scared when I found out about what was going to happen, because usually, especially with procedures and especially with injections, I like to know that they're coming in advance so I can kind of process it and try to get myself a little bit brave before it happens. But it wasn't going to happen in this case, so I just needed to get on with it. And then there was also a second wave of nervousness because I've never had injections in my stomach before. I think I've probably had them everywhere else in my body, but never in my stomach. So I had no idea what they were going to feel like. So the injections hurt. They hurt a lot. I did not like them, but luckily my pain specialist seemed to be quite good at giving injections. He didn't torture me too much and he did get it over and done with pretty quickly. So I need to be grateful for that. I'm to see my pain specialist in about another month and let him know how things are going. But I think things should be okay because I already feel a little bit different. On one side, everything was sort of numb because he only did the injections on my right side, which was the most sore. But even though it felt numb, it just felt different to the left side inside myself. So I just hope that that's a good sign of things to come. So after this, he might do the left side, but I'm pretty sure that he'll just skip to phase 2 after this treatment, all going well, but he will be referring me to a specialized radiographer to be able to do this, because basically I don't have enough fat on my stomach for the procedure to be done safely any other way. He explained to me that most people who are just at a normal weight have 3 layers of fat, which everybody does, but their layers of fat are maybe 1 or 2 centimeters thick, and then there's a little gap in between each layer. But with me, my layers are only 1 millimeter or 2 millimeters. So trying to get injections and probes in between millimeters of fat as compared to centimeters of fat, you need to really know what you're looking for and know how to get in between the layers safely. So that's why I'll need to be referred to somebody else for that procedure if it goes ahead. So I think that's about it for this little story time for now. We'll just have to see how things go. Thank you again for watching my channel, and I'll talk to you again another time. Bye.